Okay, so I'm gonna use my grinder with the wire wheel. I got my Makita cordless grinder, and I'm gonna be using this DeWalt wire wheel, and I'm just gonna clean up the ripper before I go any further and paint it. So, and this is just for rust prevention, especially on the welds and stuff. I just want to at least prolong it a little bit. It is gonna get scraped off because it's a ripper. I mean, but for now, you know, I just want to protect it the best I can. I want to keep it clean and keep that rust off. And let me show you what I'm going to use. I got it in my Polaris side by side here. Okay, so I got this high heat. That's what I'm going to finish it off with. I am going to start with this Krylon rust converting black primer. So you can see there. So this stuff's supposed to be really good. And then again, I'm going to let this dry overnight, and then I'll come back tomorrow morning and use this high heat Rustoleum. This stuff's really good. I really like this stuff. I mean, I use it on everything, even stuff that you don't need high heat. This stuff is a lot stronger. It goes on kind of like a Duracoat or a Cerakote, and then when you heat it, it bakes it on, and it's even better. So what I'm going to do after I put this stuff on, I'm going to take my torch and just heat all the areas where I painted, and it's going to bake it on, and it'll adhere it a lot better. So we'll see how that works. And what I would usually do, I'm not going to do it for this project because I don't really care how it looks. I mean, it's going to get beat up. It's a ripper. But I usually heat up the cans, and that's kind of a secret. A little tip I'm giving you guys. Set the can in hot water for like 5 minutes, and that's going to thin out the paint, and it's going to spray a lot more even, and you won't have those drips, and you can spray it to the last drop, and you won't have that tip just spitting and dripping all over the place, because it's going to thin it out really good. And that's kind of what that ball on the inside is for. When you shake it, these, you can't even hear them, and these don't even have it. But when you shake a can and you got that rattling, you know, that ball is trying to create friction to thin out the paint and to heat it up. So heating up the cans is what I'd usually do. But again, you know, I don't care really how it looks if I have any drips or anything. It's going to get beat up. It's more for rust prevention. All right, so I'm going to run my Makita and get this cleaned up. So it's turning out pretty good. You see it's a lot cleaner. Got a bunch of the rock that was just kind of packed into the corners out, and you can see on this side, I didn't get it yet, but you can see some rock material just wedged in there. So that's what I'm trying to clean off, and some of the surface rust. So you can see how dirty this side is. You can kind of see where I started. It's cleaning it up pretty nice. All right, so just a quick cleanup, and we'll get the painting. All right, I'm gonna call that good for the grinding. So up in here, I'm not gonna paint on the inside right now because it's all greased up, and I gotta clean it. I'm gonna have to move it. So I'm just gonna paint the bottom half for now. Get a shot of this here. So this stuff, the rust preventing black primer from Krylon, it sprays clear and then it turns black. So pretty interesting. I'm ready. All right, so it's already starting to turn black. So it's looking good. All right, come back in the morning and check it out. And we'll put the top coat on it. All right, guys, so it's the next morning. The primer is dry. So you can see it did turn out a lot blacker. When it dried, it sprayed on clear. So it's pretty dark now. And again, that is the Krylon rust converting black primer that I started off with. So it says it converts rust to a paintable primer. Okay, so now on to the finish. I'm gonna again use the Rustoleum high heat spray paint. This stuff's good, I like it. It's really tough. And then I'm gonna torch it after it's on. I'm gonna let it dry for a little bit and then I'll come back with a little torch and heat it and bake it on. All right, let's get to spray painting. All right, let me get this off. Okay, so it looks pretty good. See, it comes out like a matte black. And when I torch it, it'll bake it on, and it'll be an even finish on there. All right, let's get the torch out. All right, so I just got my little lawn and garden torch and just a little propane tank on here. And I'm gonna just get a quick once over with the torch and bake it on. So you can see the difference in the color when I start torching it. It changes a little bit. This is baking it on. You can see there, the longer I heat it, the darker it gets. So that's kind of the goal. Okay, so that's it for the painting process. I'm gonna get the tooth on and we'll test this baby out. Here's the new tooth. So that's what it's gonna look like. Okay, so I want to show you the old tooth. I mean, you can see how much smaller it is. And then this is the old pin compared to the new pin that I'm going to be using. So the old pins, I was bending them about every hour or so, which wasn't good. I mean, it was definitely too small for the machine. And you can see the new pin is way bigger. I'm never going to bend that. And you can see even the retainers, big difference. And the bigger tooth. So let's get this tooth on. All right, so first you're gonna put the retainer in. I know it's all backwards because it's upside down. I'm usually it's on the other side, but get that retainer in. And the tooth is gonna fit tight, so I'm gonna hammer it on. See if I can get it. And if the welds are the tack welds are too big, the little welds, I can hammer those down. Yeah, they might be too big here, so let's try to pound some of the welds down. All right, there we go. That tooth is on there, and it's tight. So you can see the pin is just in that slot, that retainer, in that little notch in there, which is nice. It's locked in, so it'll wiggle around, and it's the notch that you can see that little notch there. That's good. The retainer's locked in, and that tooth is tight. It's not wiggling at all. I mean, there's minimal. It's like a millimeter wiggle. You can't even notice it. That's gonna be good. That's awesome. All right, got this thing ready to go. So now it's time to test it out. Let's see what old Jackie boy can do. Jack the Ripper here. It's ready to go again. He's alive and well, beefed up, and he's ready to rip some blue rock. All right, guys, so another amazing day. You're supposed to have a hurricane, but on those days with the hurricane coming through, it's usually some of the nicest days ever here. So because of the mountains we got, it blocks most of the hurricanes. And it's a beautiful day. So back onto the Ripper. This thing's done. Tooth is on, painted, it's ready to go. Moment of truth. Let's go test it out. You know your welder's good when this is the kind of slag he leaves behind. That's awesome. Perfect welds right there. Alright guys, so I got the Ripper here, I got the excavator right over the hill there, and today's project is going to be ripping a channel across the pathway there That's where the stream comes through, and I'm gonna shape it and channel it where it's supposed to go and then out the property. So that'll be a good job for the ripper today to test it out. I'm excited. Let's go check it out. Okay, I'm gonna grab my ripper. I'm not gonna drop my bucket here because I want both. So I'm just gonna be careful and try to grab it with the bucket here and the thumb. Just gotta be careful with the pin or the tooth. So when you're doing stuff like this, you wanna just pinch it slightly. All right. So I do want my bucket to be close to me. I don't want to drop it down here and then not have the bucket and have to come all the way back. All right, it's really chunky and muddy over here. I'm gonna go through and then hit that road up in the center of the property there. This pit became a pond, so I got to fill that with rock. That's the next project right after I rip this road here. All right, I'm gonna get in position and we're gonna test this sucker out. right, so Jackie Boy's back in effect. It wasn't as hard as I thought here. There was a little bit of rock deep down and it ripped it no problem. I got this shaped, so now you can see, so the water's gonna channel down here, and now it's gonna turn instead of continuing and then turning. So I want it to turn here, and it's gonna cut a channel that's a little deeper than this. So when it starts raging, grass won't hold it. I mean, it's gonna cut its channel. So this is where I want it to be. This is where it was. I did fill it in with a bunch of dirt so I can plant grass along the side, and just so I can get over it until it slowly cuts its channel, and hopefully there's a few high spots of bedrock where I can still get over easily with the side-by-side. Well, that's it for this one. We'll be testing out Jackie Boy soon in an extreme environment in the next job. I'm going to be ripping a massive pad on an acre, and it's all Hawaiian blue rock, and that stuff is just like armor plating. So Jackie Boy's ready to go, and hopefully it'll hold up, but that's going to be the true test. Be looking for that video in the future. For now, I'm going to go back to cleaning out this area and moving a bunch of this rock and packing it into the pit down here. So that'll be a separate video. Check that one out coming soon, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.